60 Skills. In today's lecture, we're going to talk about the 3 most important techniques in meditation. The 3 most important techniques in meditation involve 1, learning how to focus your mind, or in other words, simply how to pay attention. 2, build the ball, which teaches you how to open your subtle senses so you can sense subtle energy directly. And 3, the electric and magnetic lines of force. This allows you to train the body and move the energy through the body more efficiently. So we're going to talk for a few minutes about what these different techniques do and why they're so important. So the first technique, known as the single point of focus technique, is actually a 4-part process. The first part of this is simply observing thoughts. For those of you familiar with Theravada Buddhism, you're very familiar with this exercise. You simply sit quietly, eyes open or eyes closed, and observe the images and thoughts that your mind generates. At a certain point, usually within a couple weeks of practice, the thoughts simply stop. The next stage in this are known as the single point of focus exercises. In this, you take a simple object. It could be something like a card, your computer mouse, a black bag, and you create a picture of this in your mind, and then you recreate a picture of this after having looked at the object for a moment, and you simply hold it there. That's it. It's not very complicated in theory. In practice, it can be quite challenging. Now, you also go on over time to use more complex objects, but in the beginning you want to use something very simple, like a circle or a triangle. It needs to be one color, and it shouldn't have any big changes in the way its surface presents itself, either using color or texture. It needs to be something very simple. Usually, that exercise is considered adequate in the case of a performer when they can hold that image in their mind for 5 minutes without interruption. So that's the second stage of the single point of focus exercises. The third stage is one of thought vacuity, where you simply observe nothingness. Interestingly enough, this can be done with eyes open or with eyes closed. In most conventional schools, this is where the exercise ends. However, there is a 4th stage known as merge into light, where you dwell in the emptiness until light forms, and then when that light forms, you project your consciousness into it. This is an enlightenment level technique by itself, and it can take anywhere from several weeks to a couple of years to learn how to do. It simply depends upon the individual. It also has many close resemblances to what is known as Ati Yoga in the Tibetan Buddhism tradition. All right, so that's the single point of focus exercise that teaches you how to pay attention. What's next? Next, we have the build the ball exercise. This is an exercise wherein you train the breath. So yes, technically it is a form of pranayama, although a very gentle one. And it teaches you how to sense subtle energy using your sense of touch. This becomes important because once you can sense subtle energy, you can learn how to work with it actively. And not developing your clairvoyance or clairaudience, you can actually go quite far just using your clairsentience or subtle sense of touch. It also tends to reinforce the water element in the body and making somebody much more sensitive. So there are a bunch of advantages to learning how to do this, but the main one is it teaches you how to work with the astral or energetic or sensation aspect of your environment. So first you learn how to pay attention, then you learn how to work with the subtle aspect of energy around you. Next, we have the exercises known as the electric and magnetic lines of force. In these exercises, you are either pushing the joints open or pulling the joints open, and in doing so, you are training the soft tissue in the body, specifically the ligaments and tendons. First, you learn how to do this in a static posture. Then you learn how to do this using twist. Then through using throwing motions. Finally, you end up loading this with resistance and performing it while walking. The reason for doing this is by strengthening the ligaments and tendons in the body. Not only does it have a tremendous effect upon the health, but it also strengthens the body greatly. And it does this by integrating your motion and making the body more efficient in movement. It also makes it much more easy to move subtle energy, that stuff from the astral we learned how to do with Build the Ball, through the body much more efficiently and much stronger. And finally, being able to focus your attention again allows you to engage in these activities cleanly. So these are the three most important exercises in meditative practice. In many aspects, this mirrors the concept of body, speech, and mind from esoteric Buddhism. Because we're Hermeticists, I tend to prefer to refer to this as body, energy, or sensation in mind. But the point still stands that if you can do these three things, you can literally unlock everything there is to learn how to do in the meditative experience and learn how to do it very quickly. Now, 60Skills has an app on iPhone that has the short version of this, and of course we have our extended coursework on Udemy. So go down into the details portion of this video and you can find links to all of these things. If you liked today's video, please subscribe and send us a like. And again, check out the links down below. Otherwise, be well, and I hope to hear from you soon.